Alright, welcome to today's class. In today's class, we are going to be dealing on permutation. What then is permutation? A permutation is an arrangement of terms with an order, and the order is relevant. Now, take for instance, if we are asked to find the permutation of ABC, how do we go about it? ABC can be rearranged in several ways. So we have ACB, we have BAC, we have BCA, we have CAB, and we have CBA. So ABC can be rearranged in 5 different ways, which makes it 6 permutations. So let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 permutations here. Remember, permutation is an arrangement of terms with an order, and the order is not relevant. So the way we arrange the 3 letters here is not relevant. Now, the formula for finding permutation is this: n permutation r is equal to n factorial all over n minus r close bracket and then factorial. So this is the formula for finding permutation, where n is equal to the total number of items in a set. And then R is the number of items being chosen and arranged in a specific order. Now let's take a practical example. Example 1. Find the number of ways first, second, and third positions can be taken by 10 number of students in the class. Solution. From the question, our n, which is the total number of students in the class, is equal to 10. And then R, which is the total number of positions to be found, is 3. We are asked to find first position, second position, and third position. So we are asked to find 3 different positions. So our next task is to write down the permutation formula, which is n permutation r is equal to n factorial all over n minus r and then factorial. Now note this: a factorial is a mathematical operation that multiplies every given positive integer by every positive integer below it down to 1. A factorial is a mathematical operation that multiplies every given positive integer by every positive integer below it down to 1. So when we say 4 factorial, what do we really mean? 4 factorial is equal to 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. So now you know what a factorial is. It is the mathematical operation that multiplies a given positive integer by every positive integer below it down to 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So you multiply all. So 5 factorial is equal to 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Therefore, 5 factorial is the same thing as 5 multiplied by 4 factorial. So now let's substitute into the permutation equation. N permutation R is equal to n factorial all over n minus r and then factorial. From the question, our n is 10. So we have 10 factorial all over ten minus 3 and then factorial. So it's equal to 10 factorial is 10 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 and then multiplied by 1. All over 10 minus 3 is 7. So we have 7 factorial. So now let's rewrite this. So we have 10 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 8 and then multiplied by 7 factorial all over 7 factorial. Remember, 7 factorial is the same thing as 7 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 and then multiplied by 1. That's why I wrote 7 factorial here. So our next task is to cancel out. So 7 factorial cancels 7 factorial. So we are left with 10 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 8. So our answer becomes 720 ways. Now let's consider another example. Example 2. How many ways can you choose a president and secretary from a club consisting of 16 members? A. With no restrictions. B. With both positions held by men if there are 7 men and 9 women. Solution. Our first task is to write down the given parameters. From the question, we are given that n is equal to 16 members. And then r is equal to 2 positions, which is the presidency and the secretary. Our next task is to substitute into the equation, the permutation equation, which is n permutation r is equal to n factorial all over n minus r factorial. So if we substitute into this equation, we would have 16 factorial all over 16 minus 2 and then factorial. So we have 16 factorial all over 16 minus 2 is 14 and then factorial. So we have 16 factorial is 16 multiplied by 15 multiplied by 14 factorial all over 14 factorial. So 14 factorial cancels 14 factorial. We are left with 16 multiplied by 15, which gives us 240. So therefore, 16 permutation 2 is equal to 240 ways. Now for B, we are asked to find how many ways can you choose a president and a secretary with both positions held by men if there are 7 men and 9 women. So both positions held by men. So we are considering only men in this scenario. And the number of men, n, is equal to 7 men. And then the number of positions to be found, r, is equal to 2. So we have 7 permutation 2 is equal to 7 factorial all over 7 minus 2 and then factorial. So we have 7 factorial all over 7 minus 2 is 5 factorial. So we have 7 multiplied by 6 and then multiplied by 5 factorial all over 5 factorial. So 5 factorial cancels out 5 factorial. So we are left with 7 multiplied by 6. So therefore, 7 permutation 2 is equal to 42 ways. So this is our final answer.